Now this is LIFO. Now this is the reverse of FIFO. But this seems to go a bit quicker, so let's see what you think of this. Same setup as in FIFO, only instead of taking from the top layers, we take from the bottom layers. So we have, everything is the same in this one, except they changed the cost of the beginning layer, and that's $2. So that has been changed. So if you're using a spreadsheet, make sure you change that amount. So let's start. I've got this is what they gave us right here. I figured out, put in the cost of each one, so it's all in one location. And now we're going to start in on April, which is in blue, and May, which is in orange. So let's do April first. So we have a balance of $400 at $2. And they sold this month a total of $300. We're at the end of the month. They had 400, they had 200, and they had 100 that they purchased. So, and they sold 300. So starting at the bottom this time, this is one layer of inventory. So that's 100 they used. There's 0 left in that. And we used, oh, I'm sorry, I told you wrong. We sold 150. My fault. So sorry. We purchased 100, and then we sold this 100. Then we had 50 left over, so we took 50 out of this one. That left us 150 left in this layer and 400 left in this layer. Now, let's see what the cost comes out to be here as we look at this. So this is our used layer. So this is saying 100 at $575. And that will equal, oh my goodness, probably $575. What do you think? And we had 50 at $550. And if I should be able to pull that right down. So those added together would be our cost of goods sold, because those are the 2 layers we used, and those are the costs. So our cost of goods sold should be $850. So let's watch that number and see if it is as we do all these calculations. So what's left? Okay, I have left 400 at $2 and 150 at $550. So that gives me an ending inventory of $16,025, if I added correctly. So what does that do for us here? So let's start with our little equation for cost of goods sold and see if this all measures. We have beginning inventory of 800. Remember this, 8 times 2. We had purchases of $1675. If you add all these these two purchases up, you'll come with $1675. And then we had an ending inventory of $1625 right here. So if you do the equation, if you do beginning inventory plus purchases minus $1625, ooh, there's your cost of goods sold. And it agrees with this cost of goods sold. So we have April. Now let's look at May. Again, remember, you're coming from the bottom up. In May, we began with $550 in quantity, or $1625 was the cost of the inventory. We purchased 250 and we sold 350 right here. So now what do? Okay, so I'm at the bottom. Here's my last purchase. It was 250 at 550. So that leaves 0 in that layer. Where's my next layer? Right here. Because we've already used this layer, remember? So now I have 100 out of 150 left right here, so it leaves 50 here, and then I have 400 up in this one. So let's take our 100, let's take our 250 first, and multiply that times 550. And then we'll take our 100 and multiply it by and we will multiply that 100 by 550. And if we add those two together, it says our cost of goods sold is going to be $19.25. Okay, so let's double check that. What do we have left? I have 400 at $2, and I have 50 at $5.55. And if I plug those numbers in, I get $1,075. Okay, so my beginning inventory was $16.25. If I add my purchases here, I come up with $13.75 is what I bought. And my ending inventory here is $175. So if I add beginning plus purchases minus ending, I end up with $19.25 for cost of goods sold. And they match. That's good. So let's move on and let's look at the other side. And it's actually not that bad if we go the right way to get that centered on screen. This is LIFO perpetual, which means we keep track of it as we go along. So this should look familiar to you. We've done this several times. So we have 400 times 2 as the beginning inventory here. Got that? And I think I'm over too far. I think I need, yeah, that's better, because our calculations are here. And then we purchased 200 at 5.5, and that was 1100. So that gets added to our layer, and we now have $1,900 as inventory. And then it looks like on April 25th we sold some. And how much did each one of those cost? Well, which layer am I taking out of? I'm taking out of the earliest, or the most recent layer. And that would be out of the 200 layer. So it's 150 times 550, and $825 is the cost of that. So now I've got to create a new layer here, though. So my 400 is good, right? 400 at 2. I took 150 out of this one, so I have 50 left. That gives us an inventory of 1,075. So we keep going, and what do we do next? Oh, we buy some more. So now I have to add to that layer. So I've got 400, and I've got the 50, and now I add the 100 at 575, and I have an ending inventory in April of $1,650. So what does that do for us? So what is my cost of goods sold here? It says $825, and my ending inventory is $1,650. Okay, we've got, and this is on a running total, so we have $825, so we have a beginning, we have a purchases of $1,675 right here, sorry, and I have a cost of goods sold of $825 and an ending inventory of $1,650, so we're good to go. So let's keep going. Then in May, we purchased 250 at $550, so now we're adding to that layer. So now I have 400 at 2, I have 50 at 550, I have 100 at 575, and now I have that 250 at 550. Then we start selling here. On May 18th, I sold 350. That's this one right here. Now, if I look at this, can't get 300 out of that layer, so I'm going to obliterate that whole layer. It's going to be 250 at 550. Then I'm going to take 50 out of this layer, so I've got 50 at 575. And that gets added to our cost of goods sold. And then, let's see, do we do anything else? May 22nd, we sell some more. And that, of course, you have to, once you do this, you have to give it a new layer. So now we've taken that layer out. So now we have 400, we have 50, and we have 50 left. And then we sell another 50. So that takes this layer. So now we're left with 450 as your last two layers, and an inventory of 1,075, a cost of goods sold of 950, and purchases of 1,375, which you just plug the numbers in for. So I hope that's helped. I'll send all these templates when I'm finished with this, so good luck. Next up, I'm going to do the weighted average and moving average.